All right. Andy Ruiz answers a question by TMZ, says he ain't fighting Anthony Joshua in the UK. And if it ain't in the United States or Mexico, the rematch ain't happening because he's the A side. He's running it. And of course, UK fans of Anthony Joshua respond with the typical ridiculousness. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel, subscribers. If you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button and hit the bell icon and a little button under the little box underneath the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos and also when we do our live streams. Thank you so much to everybody that donates to the channel through Patreon and the videos we do on Patreon. We've got a new one that we just uploaded today. Also, thank you so much for the people that support in the super chat and the Venmo. You guys are definitely the thing that keeps the channel up and running and going strong. So let's talk about this, okay? Now, I've dealt with this issue before, but I think it's important enough to talk about again. And I have a lot of fun with it because it's humorous to me. Now, after Anthony Joshua got knocked down 4 times and then quit against Andy Ruiz, Eddie Hearn jumped out there and said that the rematch is going to be in the UK because we got a rematch clause that says it has to be in the UK. My immediate reaction to that was to laugh. You cannot make Anthony, he cannot make, I don't care what it says in that rematch clause, he cannot make Andy Ruiz put those belts on the line against Anthony Joshua in the UK. He cannot do it. Not possible, can't do it. If Andy Ruiz does not want to go over there and give Anthony Joshua another shot at those belts in the UK, he absolutely, positively does not have to do it. Period. That is so hard for some people to get their head around because they say, but non, you know not, what is it? You're daft. You're daft. You know nothing about contracts. Put aside the fact that I think I know a fair amount about contracts, you know, more than most, not as much as some, but more than most, more than the vast majority of people, I would say, because of my work experience. But I'm going to appeal to you guys to understand this from a common sense point of view. Common sense. Shelly Finkel said something on the Boxing Voice interview to Ness. Shout out to the Boxing Voice on another related subject. Well, it was a related subject. It was talking about whether or not Anthony Joshua was the A side over Deontay Wilder. And what Shelly Finkel said was about leverage, about Anthony Joshua being the number one, the A side, because he had the most leverage. He has the most fans. He has the most, money behind him, whatever. What Shelly Finkel said was, you don't have any leverage if the other guy says no and walks away. You have no net leverage in a negotiation with a guy that decides to walk away. What do you think AJ could do to Deontay Wilder if Deontay Wilder just said, you know what? I don't care about fighting you. I'm going to go fight somebody else. Anthony Joshua and Eddie Hearn could do exactly what they did do in that scenario. Nothing about it. And the same thing applies to Andy Ruiz. If Andy Ruiz says, I am not fighting Anthony Joshua in the UK, there's nobody is going to come and arrest Andy Ruiz, stick him in those belts on a plane, and fly him over to the UK and hold him in a holding tank until 10 minutes before the fight. Walk him out there under cover of gun, and make him fight that fight. Not going to happen. So common sense should tell you that if he doesn't want to do it, they can't make him do it. But what can they do? They can sue him, right? You're violating this rematch clause and your damages and we are claiming this in damage. They can't claim specific performance, which means there's no court that is going to tell them you have to make this fight. That's what specific performance means. It's a type of damages. Yes, you breached the contract, and the only way that you can make me whole is if you do exactly what it is you promised to do, which is specific performance. They're not going to be able to make him go to the fight. So what could they do? They could sue him for the money, right? We're going to sue you for the amount of money that it would take that we were going to earn in that fight? How are you going to validate what you could earn in the fight? But just say they can come up with a number with how much money they would have earned in the fight. What if Andy Ruiz says this? I'm going to drop the belts. I'm not going to fight anybody for a championship. I'm going to drop the belts. If he drops the belts, what do you think Anthony Joshua's going to do? Sue Andy Ruiz to fight him for no belts? Of course not. Anthony Joshua's just going to go try to fight for the belts. But who gets to fight for the belts? Those belts are not going to go back to Anthony Joshua. The WBO isn't going to say, well, the rematch didn't happen with Andy Ruiz and Anthony Joshua, so we're going to strip Andy Ruiz and give the WBO belt back to Anthony Joshua. No, they're going to have a fight for the vacant title, which will more than likely be the fight between Alexander Usyk and somebody else, whoever the number 2 guy is, maybe Tyson Fury. WBA is going to do the same thing. The IBF is going to do the same thing. And if Andy Ruiz drops the belt because Anthony Joshua wouldn't fight him, it won't make any difference to Andy Ruiz because Andy Ruiz is already the first Mexican heavyweight champion, the first Mexican descendant, however you want to say it, whatever is right to Andy Ruiz, however he wants to be referred to as, he's still going to have his fan base. And they're all going to understand that he didn't want to go to the UK. And AJ was too scared to come to the United States to fight him because he wanted to take the fight to Mexico. He wanted to take the fight to New York, where his fans could see him because he's the champion. They're going to ride with him, and he'll get another title shot eventually with somebody else. But AJ won't get that title shot. AJ won't get a shot at that belt. AJ is going to have to wind up fighting the winner of. He's going to have to fight Alexander Pulev for that belt. Or the winner of Alexander Pulev versus Alexander Povetkin, or Dillian White, or Luis Ortiz, the winner of Luis Ortiz versus whoever. And it's going to take him forever to go and piece those 3 belts back together. Okay? Humpty Dumpty took a great fall, man. And if Humpty Dumpty named Andy Ruiz falls and those belts go all over the place, Anthony Joshua will not be a 3-belt holder for no other point in time in his career without having to go through at least Tyson Fury and Pulev. And why do I say that? Because there's a little organization, you might have heard them. You might have heard of them, called Top Rank. And Bob Arum will have that WBO belt before you can burp. What happened to the belt? Oh, Bob got it. Where'd the WBO belt go? Oh, Bob's got it. Bob's got it. Tyson Fury's been ordered to fight Alexander Usyk. Tyson Fury's going to go fight Alexander Usyk, beat Alexander Usyk, and he's got the belt. Or he's going to talk to the WBO and say, we don't feel like having him fight Usyk. Get rid of Usyk. We want Trevor Bryan versus Pulev or whoever we want to get that belt, because the organization's called whatever Bob orders. Okay? So anyway, I don't want to hear this nonsense about rock solid rematch clauses. There's no such thing because you cannot force this guy into fighting. And the question is, if he doesn't fight, what you gonna do about it? You know how they say that in the park, and he'd be like, that's my lunch, that's my lunch. You got a big bully, and the bully got your lunch, but you can't do nothing to that bully. And you say, what you gonna, hey, give me my lunch, that's mine, that's mine. And he holding over your head while you jumping up and down at it. And he's looking at you like, what you gonna do about it? You gonna whoop me and take it? Yeah, whoop me, take it. What you gonna do about it? Nothing. And he sits and eats your sandwich right in front of you, even though it is your, or used to be your sandwich. Boxing is a dirty business, man. If these guys don't want to go to the UK, they ain't gonna go to the UK. And there's a bunch of other ways they can get out of that. So I just find it funny that people talk about these rematch clauses. I had the same conversation, same fun conversation with Jeff Horn fans when Manny Pacquiao was talking about getting a rematch with Jeff Horn. I was like, man, they were like, oh, the rematch has to be in Australia. It's got to be in Australia. Like, no, it doesn't. Because all Manny Pacquiao has to say is he's not going to fight. And what are they going to do? Order him to fight in Australia? It would have been better for it would have been better for Jeff Horn's prospect at a rematch if he would have just given up that clause and fought in New York or fought in some neutral territory. He would have had a rematch with Manny Pacquiao. But because he didn't do that, now Manny Pacquiao is on his second pay-per-view over there with the PBC, fighting for the WBO belt. And Jeff Horn is over there in Australia, just coming up with a fight with Anthony Mundine. So anyway, it is what it is. Let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.